just a super short, well, not super short, fairly short live video talking about food swaps and a few tips. So you've all got the welcome guide and you've read through that. Again, just go back and remind yourselves of some simple changes that you can do if you are looking for fat loss as a goal. Then ultimately, in some aspect, it comes down to calories. Whether you're choosing to count calories, control portions, cut down on a certain food group, point counting, they all work to a degree, and they all work because ultimately over a week, over a month, you are reducing your calorie intake to create fat loss. Okay, so whichever one you choose one that works for you. If you're waking up and having breakfast and over the course of the day you're eating your normal diet, your normal food, not seeing any weight loss, don't be afraid to either skip a snack. Obviously, depending on what the snack is, it's going to save you quite a few calories, possibly as well. But the old age myth of you have to eat breakfast to get your day right isn't true. It is a myth. So if you don't have time or you just don't fancy breakfast, then don't force something down you. What you're technically doing there is fasting. You're intermittently fasting. If your last meal was at, say, 8 o'clock at night, and then you're waking up, you're not having breakfast, that's 8 AM, so that's 12 hours. You maybe then wait until 12 midday to eat. That's a 16-hour fasting window. If all you're having is black tea, coffee, and some water in those 16 hours between 8 and midday, absolutely brilliant. That gives you then 8 hours of feeding. You're unlikely to overeat unless you're having massive portions or choosing to eat out at fancy restaurants all the time, with, you know, lots of high calorie food. You're unlikely to overeat your calories in that 8 window, and it's a really good method, intermittent fasting. You can also, you've got things like the 5-2 diet, which works on a similar premise, which is where you have high calorie day, low calorie days. But don't get hung up on it. Just find a way that works for you, but also at the same time, if you know you've got a big weekend of friend barbecues or parties, then on the Thursday or the Friday leading up to it, don't be afraid to eat a little bit less. Plan it. Why not? If it works for you and ultimately keeps you in a calorie deficit over the week, then that's what we're aiming for. Overly restrictive dieting is where it can get a bit problematic. That's not to say it's detrimental if you are creating a really large calorie deficit. So let's say you just give yourself a 500 calorie window for 3 days a week. It's not detrimental, but what you need to do is just be aware that you don't overeat. Okay, any questions or more, let me know. See you soon.